Hey guys, today we are going to start a team case video presentation. We studied the case of Apple based on the utilitarian theory. Our team members are Jose Miller, Maria, Sylvia Ortiz, and Catherine Lopez. Let's get started.
Group 6's presentation on the Apple dilemma. You may be asking yourself, why Apple? And that is a great question. The reason why we chose Apple is a recent study showed that on average, every household has 2 Apple products at least. This could range from anywhere from an iPhone to a MacBook to an iMac, which is similar to a personal computer, all the way down to iWatches, headphones, you name it. Tablets, and all of these devices can sometimes store some very sensitive information that we may not want publicly released or released to just anybody. So with that, Apple has always strived to maintain consumer privacy ever since their founding in 1976. So we will be going into the dilemma that Apple will be facing, and it's unfortunate reason why this dilemma came up with the San Bernardino shooting that recently happened not too long ago. So sit back, kick back, and enjoy the presentation, everybody.
I'm Maria here. I'm going to explain the utilitarian theory. Utilitarianism is ethical theory that determines right from wrong by focusing on outcomes. It is a form of consequentialism. Utilitarianism has been around for a long time, but it's gained a lot in prominence and popularity in late 18th century. Due in part to the work of British philosopher named Jeremy Bentham, he founded that idea of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism holds the most ethical choice. It is the one that will produce the greatest good for the greatest number. It is the only moral framework that can be used to unjustified military force of war. It is also the most common approach to moral reasoning used in business because of the way in which it accounts for cost and benefits. We cannot predict the future. It's difficult to know with certainty whether the consequences of our action will be good or bad. This is one of the limitations of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism also has trouble accounting for values such as justice and individual rights. For example, assume a hospital has 4 people whose lives depend upon receiving organ transplants. If the healthy person wanders into the hospital, his organ could be harvested to save 4 lives at the expense of 1 life. This would arguably produce the greatest good for the greatest number. But few would consider it unacceptable course of action, let alone the most ethical one. Think of it like this. It might mean you actually make sacrifices to your happiness in order to make others happy. So, although utilitarianism is arguably the most reason-based approach to determining right and wrong, it has obviously limitations.
Apple Inc., formerly known as Apple Computer Inc., a multinational technology company, was founded in April 1976 by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Roland Wayne. The headquarters are located in Cupertino, California. Apple is one of the first successful personal computer companies that designs, develops, and sells electronics, computer software, and online services. The company is well known for their iPads, iPods, iPhones, and Macs. In 1985, the company began to struggle after they ousted Steve Jobs because the Apple's board felt that he was too young and temperamental to run Apple. Jobs returned in 1997 when Apple was close to filing bankruptcy. In 2001, he was able to lead a recovery by introducing the iPod. In 2007, he introduced the iPhone, and in 2010, he introduced the iPad. Jobs died in 2011, and Tim Cook took over. By 2014, Apple earned $40 billion in profits. As of 2021, the revenue is $111.4 billion. As you can see in the top left side of the screen, Apple is the number 1 leader in cell phones. In the second graph, which is at the bottom right, you can see that Apple is also popular throughout Japan and the US. There are 100 million iPhone users in use, which accounts for about 45% of all smartphone users. Apple prides themselves on privacy issues. Craig Federini, Senior Vice President of Software Engineering for Apple, states, "Privacy means peace of mind, it means security, and it means you are in the driver's seat when it comes to your data." He also confirms, "Our goal is to create technology that keeps people's information safe and protected. We believe privacy is a fundamental human right, and our team works every day to embed it in everything we make." In 2016, the FBI asked Apple to help unlock an iPhone that belonged to Saeed Farouk. He was responsible for the San Bernardino shooting that left 14 people dead. Tim Cook refused and challenged the court over the balance between maintaining national security and protecting user privacy. Apple felt that if they wrote a code for the FBI to unlock the phone, and if it fell into the wrong hands, it could threaten the privacy of all iPhone owners. Apple had to protect the data privacy of their customers. Apple also argued that the FBI imposed an unfair burden on them and violated its rights of freedom of speech and privacy issues. This became one of the worst ethical dilemmas known. Apple was acting as a utilitarian in regards to their customers by producing the greatest good for the greatest number. Apple felt they had the moral obligation to protect their customers.
Hi everyone, so I'm going to be talking about the action plan for our team. So essentially what we agreed on is that we want the FBI and Apple to be able to collaborate with one another. We understand that in cases like the one we have explained above, that sometimes, for example, the FBI is one of the highest ranking law enforcement, so this is something that they're going to really need in their records. So we think that Apple should be able to allow a backdoor only for the FBI. Only for the FBI, not simple smaller police departments, not sheriff departments. No one but the FBI very specifically. And the FBI will collaborate in being the only other partner being able to have this ability. In addition to having the FBI and Apple collaborate with their security backdoors, we would like to change the mission statement. Thinking about utilitarianism, we want to just add in the little one sentence at the end that will make all parties involved have a like happiness. So how we would like to state it now is that Apple strives to bring the best personal computing experience to students, educators, creative professionals, and consumers around the world through its innovative hardware, software, and internet offerings, while giving the best security and safety to the best of our abilities. This entitles that not only are we giving you the best experience as usual, like the above says their current mission statement, but by adding the best security and safety to their best abilities will only create an environment where both parties are aware that we are able to access their information just for security purposes, that we are still keeping all their information safe, but they are in the right hands. And that's it. Thank you.
Conclusion. Apple certainly had quite the dilemma on their hands. The shooting that happened at San Bernardino was extremely tragic, and Apple was certainly placed in a hard position. While they would want to help as much as possible, Apple understood that the precedent that could be set would be a very slippery slope indeed. Apple strives to ensure that our protection and privacy are maintained, and also that nobody has the ability to access it without very, very strict protocols. If our products could easily be accessed, a lot of our private information could be released to very many people. This is why the utilitarianism approach seemed very applicable for this case, because the greater good outside of the San Bernardino shooting, and when I mean the greater good, I mean of the most majority of people, outweighed the very few people that accessing the shooter's phone would have benefited. It is very unfortunate, but most of the times during history, A lot of times all it takes is one simple precedent and one simple case to reference and use as a cornerstone to build upon. That is why Apple knew that it would be difficult to come back from this if they were to release and come back on their protection and their privacy acts. I hope you learned a lot from this. Again, there's lots of information out there readily available concerning the San Bernardino incident, so I did not want to go too much into detail about that. However, if you have an Apple phone or an Apple product, please know that Apple is doing their best to make sure the privacy. Thank you.